My younger sister, still in university, got pregnant. She told me she wanted to drop out, get married, and have the baby. I couldn't bear to let her ruin her future, so I forced her to have an abortion. Her boyfriend broke up with her because of it. Afterward, to save her from gossip, I gave her all my savings so she could study abroad. 3 years later, my sister returned, successful and educated, landing a job at a prestigious company, her career blossoming. But what I never expected was that all my sacrifices wouldn't earn me gratitude, but rather a profound, bone-deep hatred from her. She tricked me into going abroad under the guise of a vacation, only to sell me into a black market in a foreign land. What good is your education? What good is financial freedom? I lost my love all because of a conniving bitch like you, she screamed. Later, I was cut open on an operating table, my organs harvested. I died consumed by resentment. When I opened my eyes again, I was alive. Sister, I'm pregnant. I want to drop out of school to have my boyfriend's baby. Hearing those words from Jenny Shen's mouth once more, I realized I had been reborn. In my previous life, I had poured my heart and soul into raising my younger sister, Jenny Shen. After she got into university, she fell in love with a senior 2 years her elder. I pleaded with her, urging her to protect herself. Dating is fine, but don't spend the night with him. She was too young. I didn't want her to do anything she'd regret. But to my dismay, she agreed to my face, only to call me an old-fashioned fossil behind my back. In her second year, she became pregnant with her boyfriend's child, determined to drop out, marry him, have the baby, and settle down. I was furious. I pleaded with her for 3 days and 3 nights, exhausted every argument until she finally agreed to an abortion. After the abortion, her boyfriend, Liam Liu, used it as an excuse to break up. You unilaterally aborted our child. I'm devastated. Let's break up. He then blocked all contact. Throughout my sister's month of recovery, he didn't visit her once. He was utterly heartless and cold. Looking back, he was nothing but a complete scumbag. First, he got his university girlfriend pregnant. Then, when she needed him most, he dumped her. He offered no help, no financial support, and even blamed everything on her. Even Hong Si-hyun wasn't as bad as him. In contrast, I not only immediately took my sister for the abortion, but also nursed her for a full month, never leaving her side. To shield her from wagging tongues, I used all my savings to send her to study abroad. Yet, in her eyes, I was worse than that scumbag. 3 years later, she returned, working for a famous company. I received no gratitude, only revenge. She tricked me into going abroad and sold me into the black market. The last image I had of her was that vicious face. She screamed at me, "What good is your education? What good is financial freedom? You made me lose the most precious love of my life, so you deserve to die." Then, I was cut open on an operating table, my organs harvested. I died consumed by resentment, while she thrived brilliantly in her career. After killing me, the only person who knew her secret, she concealed her past and started a new life. Thankfully, I was reborn. In this life, I decided to let go of my desire to help others and respect their destinies. I wanted to see what fate awaited her if I, her older sister, didn't interfere with my well-meaning intentions. I looked into Jenny Shen's eyes, a flicker of anxiety in them. Drop out to get married? But you just got into university not long ago. If you really quit, what will you do with your future? Jenny Shen quickly argued back. So what if I drop out? True gold shines anywhere. I'm so beautiful I could find a good job even with just a high school diploma. Besides, Liam Liu said he'd support me and the baby, so stop worrying about nonsense. At the mention of Liam Liu, Jenny Shen's face lit up with happiness, and she shyly looked down, smiling. I smiled too. All right, if you're so determined, I won't stop you anymore. Do what you want. I support you. Jenny Shen's smile abruptly froze, her face showing clear disbelief. You're not stopping me. I looked at her, feigning doubt. Why would I stop you? My sister is so exceptional. Even without a university degree, you'd still have a bright future. How could a mere university degree compare to your true love? Jenny Shen hesitated a little, then cautiously said, but getting into a top university wasn't easy. Dropping out seems a bit of a waste. See, if I had stopped her, she would have fought me tooth and nail. But since I didn't, she started to waver. Now I understood perfectly. She was incredibly selfish, wanting both love and an education. She made such a fuss just to force me to make the choice for her, so that if she ever regretted it, she could dump all the blame on me. No matter how wrong she was, it would always be someone else's fault, never hers. But this time, I wouldn't shield her anymore. I nodded in agreement. You're right. Not everyone has the courage to give up everything for love. If you choose reputation over love and your child, that's understandable too. Hearing my words, Jenny Shen flew into a rage. She was always so arrogant, unable to tolerate anyone seeing her as ordinary or greedy. She immediately made up her mind. Who said I want to give up love? It's just a bachelor's degree, I don't care about it, I'm dropping out. With that, she dragged me to the school to process her withdrawal. After getting the withdrawal confirmation, I saw a hint of disappointment on her face, but she still feigned indifference. See. It's just a top university, it's nothing compared to my love. I suppressed a laugh and nodded. As long as you don't regret it, now that you've dropped out, marriage should be next on the agenda. As arranged by Jenny Shen and Liam Liu, I sat down for a meal with Liam Liu's parents to discuss the wedding. At the dining table, Liam Liu's mother, Helen Ha, displayed a condescending attitude. I hear Jenny Shen was orphaned at a young age, raised by her elder sister, correct? I nodded calmly. That's right, I am little Jenny's guardian. Helen Ha's face immediately formed a sneer. No wonder you taught her well, knowing how to get pregnant for my son so soon. Quite different from ordinary girls, isn't she? This was clearly a jab at Jenny Shen's lack of upbringing. I glanced at Jenny Shen, wanting to see her reaction. Would she get angry at Helen Ha? But Jenny Shen kept her head bowed, not daring to utter a word. After all, she was a university student. She understood she was being insulted. It was just that she didn't dare talk back to her future mother-in-law. Well, if the person being cursed at didn't care, why should I bother getting upset on her behalf? I didn't respond but changed the subject. We should discuss the wedding now. What are the customs on your side? Before I could finish, Helen Ha quickly cut me off. On our side, there's no custom of giving a bride price. The groom's family handles the down payment for the house, and the bride's family takes care of the renovations and buying a car. My goodness, I almost burst out laughing. Not only no bride price, but the bride's family had to pay for house renovations and a car, and later even the mortgage. And the house would only be in their son's name. Of course, I understood why they dared to make such demands. Jenny Shen was pregnant out of wedlock, and they couldn't delay any longer. But Jenny Shen still said nothing. She seemed to want to hide behind me, playing the innocent, naive girl. But I wouldn't give her the chance to escape and directly asked, "Little Jenny, what do you think?" Caught off guard, Jenny Shen's face momentarily showed awkwardness. She glanced at me, then at Liam Liu and his parents, finally stammering, "No bride price at all, that doesn't seem right." Helen Ha let out a cold laugh. Sarcasm. So what if it doesn't seem right? Is it better than your reputation as an unmarried woman carrying a child, I suppose? Because of your situation, I've lost all face with my relatives and friends, and yet you still dare to open your mouth and demand a bride price. As she spoke those words, Liam Liu's father, Daniel Liu, repeatedly signaled with his eyes as if he felt his wife was going too far and wanted her to restrain herself. But Helen Ha completely ignored him, her face full of disdain. I guessed her intentions. She clearly disliked Jenny Shen. This whole performance was to intimidate Jenny Shen into retreating, ideally getting so angry that she'd have an abortion and break up with Liam Liu. That way, she could help her son escape a girl who was pregnant before marriage, poorly educated, and from a disadvantaged family, making it easier to find a better, more agreeable daughter-in-law. And if Jenny Shen didn't break up, it was still fine. After all, they wouldn't lose a single penny on a bride price, and would even get a free car, house renovations, and a grandchild. Later, if their son got tired and divorced her, they wouldn't lose anything either. Truly, a meticulously calculated plan. The funniest part was that Liam Liu didn't say a single word to defend his girlfriend, who was being insulted right in front of him by his own mother. Utterly useless. Jenny Shen bit her lip, her face flushed as if about to bleed, and shot me a pleading look, seemingly hoping I would speak up for her. I ignored it, pretending not to see anything, focusing intently on the delicious food on the table. So much good food, it couldn't go to waste. Jenny Shen glared at me resentfully, then irritably said to Helen Ha, "Fine, I don't need a bride price anymore. We'll do as you say. Your side will pay for the house, and my sister will take care of the renovations and buy the car." Their wedding, and they wanted me to pay? How brazen could they be? Before I could say anything, Helen Haas spoke up first. We need to make it clear beforehand. The house renovations must cost 300,000 yuan, and all materials must be of the best quality. The car must also be 300,000 yuan or more. I wouldn't trust my son to drive a cheap car. Can you do that? The atmosphere suddenly became silent. It was then that Liam Liu finally spoke. He smiled gently and said, "Little Jenny, my mother is only doing this out of concern for you. After all, you're pregnant and poor quality materials might contain harmful substances for the baby. As for a cheap car, it's not comfortable, and if something happens, it's not worth it. A good car is safer." Hearing that, Jenny Shen's face immediately brightened, and she said, touched, "Liam, I know you still love me." Then she turned to me and said, "So, sister, please take care of the house renovations and the car. Liam and I will certainly remember your kindness." I chuckled inwardly. If I believed him, I truly would be a fool. I feigned difficulty. "Little Jenny, you know our family's situation well. I only finished high school, raising you wasn't easy. Where would I get 600,000 yuan from?" In truth, I had it. The money I'd saved up from years of hardship, plus recent investments, totaled exactly 600,000 yuan. I just didn't want to give it to her. In my previous life, I had used that money to send Jenny Shen abroad. The result wasn't gratitude, but a tragic death in a foreign land. In this life, I only wanted to use my money for myself, love myself, and watch Jenny Shen's farce unfold. As expected, Jenny Shen became enraged, angrily questioning me. "How can you not have money? Mom and Dad left 800,000 yuan in compensation, didn't they? Even after subtracting my living expenses over the years, you should still have 600,000 yuan left. Where did you spend all that money?" After everything I'd endured in my previous life, I was utterly disillusioned with her, so when I heard her say that, I felt no pain, only amusement and pity. Not even married yet, and she was already siding with the groom's family to attack the sister who raised her truly ungrateful and treacherous. The entire Liu family looked like cats cornering a mouse. They all stared at me, and Helen Ha directly reprimanded, "Where is your conscience? As an older sister, you dared to spend all of your parents' compensation money, not leaving a single cent for your younger sister. What kind of person are you?" Liam Liu held Jenny Shen close, looking at me with hostility. "Where is that compensation money? Whatever belongs to little Jenny, you'd better return every single penny, or I won't let you off the hook." Daniel Liu also smiled noncommittally. "Miss Shen, it's best to voluntarily hand over the money. Don't let things get any more embarrassing." Jenny Shen lay in Liam Liu's arms, crying like a pear blossom drenched in rain, completely agreeing with every insult thrown at me. Tears streamed down my face, my eyes red as I looked at her. "Little Jenny, it's true the compensation was 800,000 yuan, but Mom and Dad were in the ICU for over a month. Didn't you know that? After taking care of their funerals, not a single penny of that 800,000 yuan was left. In fact, I was still more than 200,000 yuan in debt. Where would there be any money left?" Then I pulled out an old notebook from my bag, flipping through it page by page for her to see. "See, it's all clearly recorded here. Every debt I paid off over 10 years finally cleared just 2 years ago. For the past 2 years, I've had to save up again to cover your university tuition and living expenses. How much money do I have left? I toiled for you for 10 long years. What did I get in return? Not gratitude, but suspicion. Distrust. You truly break my heart." Seeing the concrete evidence, Jenny Shen's face clearly showed shame. She wanted to reach out and grab my hand, intending to explain, "Sister, I didn't mean that." But I didn't give her the chance. I pulled my hand away and said coldly, "Don't call me sister anymore. You're grown up now, you have a lover by your side. I no longer have any obligation to raise you. From now on, we have no relationship." With that, I turned and walked away, not even glancing at Jenny Shen. I didn't want to rekindle our so-called sisterly bond. I just wanted to use this opportunity to completely sever ties with her, to avoid being dragged into her karma later. From the moment I cut ties with Jenny Shen, I began preparing for self-study university exams. In my previous life, I lived as Jenny Shen's walking textbook. After our parents died, to bear the family burden, pay off debts early, and allow Jenny Shen to study without worry, I, an excellent high school student, dropped out and began an arduous journey of working. Through countless struggles in society, I understood the importance of education. So for all those years, I always cared about Jenny Shen's studies, even hiring expensive tutors for her. The result was that after finally waiting for her to get into a top university, so many troubles arose. Dating, then an unwanted pregnancy, even claiming she wanted to drop out for love. I expended countless efforts to persuade her to return to school. But soon after, she claimed she was depressed, felt alienated by her friends, and constantly thought others were gossiping about her. I had no choice but to withdraw my last bit of savings to send her to study abroad. Finally, she graduated and returned home, found a good job, and even said she wanted to take me on a trip abroad. I thought I would finally be rewarded, that my good sister finally remembered my kindness. But what was the result? She killed me. My previous life was a cruel joke. Fortunately, heaven granted me a chance to live again, to change myself, to change my destiny. In this life, I live for myself. When choosing a major, I picked finance, what I loved most. Self-study university is different from regular university exams. There are 4 exam sessions each year, and you choose to take 4 to 6 subjects per session. The finance major has a total of 16 subjects, and it takes at least a year to complete all exams. Although I had been out of school for 10 years, luckily this field was close to my current job. And I had continued reading books over the years, so preparing for the exams wasn't too difficult. I cherished this opportunity, so I studied even harder. Whenever I wasn't working, I was studying. Heaven always favors the diligent. 3 months later, I passed all 4 subjects I had registered for, with very high scores. I was overjoyed and pushed myself even further. A few days later, as I was reviewing a major subject, I received a call from Jenny Shen. She was crying as she asked, "Sister, where are you? I just went to our old house to find you, but someone else has moved in. I can't find you." What new trick was she playing now? Of course, I had moved. Before, because of her, I rented a 2-bedroom apartment near her university, which meant I had to commute for over an hour every day. Now, things were different. I moved into a 1-bedroom apartment near my company, saving almost a third on rent, and only needed a 5-minute walk to work. The money and time saved were enough for me to buy so many books and acquire so much knowledge. I coldly asked, "Where I live is none of your concern, is it?" Jenny Shen cried even louder. "Sister, are you still angry with me? Can I please apologize? Don't be mad anymore. Little Jenny knows she was wrong. Only now do I realize that you're the one who treated me best." I lost my patience. What exactly do you want to say? It was then that Jenny Shen recounted the whole story. Apparently, ever since I angrily left that dinner, Jenny Shen had no say whatsoever in front of Liam Liu's family. She was almost completely controlled by Liam Liu's parents. Because there was no dowry, Helen Ha demanded that she only register her marriage with Liam Liu after giving birth. The reason given was that the groom's family currently had no money for a wedding and had to wait until after the baby was born to save enough. They also said they wouldn't buy a house for the young couple, telling them to rent or live with the in-laws later. Despite such unreasonable demands, Jenny Shen agreed. Because Liam Liu told her he loved her, even hugging her and crying, saying he was suffering hardships and would definitely make it up to her later, ensuring her sacrifices wouldn't be in vain. Jenny Shen believed him. Her simple reasoning: "I'm marrying him, not his parents. As long as he's good to me, that's enough." But reality proved her ridiculously wrong. Yesterday, Jenny Shen discovered messages between Liam Liu and his friends, in which Liam Liu criticized her relentlessly. Even her dropping out of school to have his child was twisted into her clinging to him, refusing to let go, and he even called her shameless. It was then that Jenny Shen realized all her sacrifices had been a joke. The two had a huge fight, and Jenny Shen was so angry she demanded to leave. 5 months pregnant, crying as she packed her belongings and dragged her suitcase out of the house, she wanted to seek refuge with me. But upon arrival, she discovered I had moved. So she tearfully called, "Sister, I want to come and stay with you for a while so Liam Liu realizes his mistake. I'm sitting at the bottom of the stairs of our old house. Please come pick me up. I'll stay with you for a while." Did she think I was her servant? That I would do whatever she wanted? Never. I wouldn't sacrifice anything more for her now. I replied indifferently, "No, I can't. The place I rent only has 1 bedroom. It's not enough for 2 people. Besides, I'm currently away on a business trip, so I can't come to pick you up. You'll have to figure it out yourself." All this time, I was the only one who sacrificed, knowing everything about Jenny Shen, but she never cared about me, not even knowing my job or workplace. So, whether I was really on a business trip or not, she had no way to verify. I thought after my refusal, Jenny Shen would stop, who knew she was even more shameless than I imagined. It's great that you're on a business trip. You won't be home, so I can stay in your room perfectly. Just have a delivery service bring me the key, and you can use the next few days to contact a real estate agent and rent a 2-bedroom apartment. When you get back, we sisters can move in together. She said it so nonchalantly, as if I owed her something. She wasn't done yet, adding, "Sister, I'm so hungry. Can you transfer some money so I can eat?" I felt nauseated. Even now, she still thought that if she cried, I'd soften and be ready to sacrifice everything for her. How ridiculous, I coldly replied. "Sorry, I don't have any money either. Don't forget, 3 months ago you yelled that I had swallowed all of Mom and Dad's compensation money." At that point, our sisterly relationship was severed. Don't call me sister anymore after this. My blunt refusal. Jenny Shen finally got angry. "Lucy Shen, how can you be so petty? Is this how you treat me? When Mom and Dad were about to die, what did you promise them? Now you're abandoning me. Do you deserve to be their daughter?" Of course, I remember. Before they passed, Mom and Dad held my hand on their deathbed, telling me to take good care of my sister. That was their last wish. I made that promise. Because of that promise, I dropped out of school, started working early to raise my sister, almost trading my entire life for it. And in the end, I only received hatred and a gruesome death. A promise that had imprisoned me my whole life, but now I was enlightened. My parents' decision to have a second child wasn't my doing, nor was the car accident my fault. Why should I raise their child in their stead, especially since I had raised her for 10 years and she was now an adult, no longer in school? I had absolutely no obligation to her anymore. I burst out laughing. "Mom and Dad, when you got pregnant and dropped out, did you think about Mom and Dad? And now you dare to bring them up to me? Don't forget, I raised you for 10 years. That's more than enough. You're an adult now, and you're not in school anymore. I have no obligation to support you. Fend for yourself." With that, I immediately hung up and blocked her number. From now on, I only wanted to live my own life well, no longer wanting any involvement with her. I thought everything would end there. Who knew Jenny Shen's tricks were far from over? Less than an hour after I started studying, I opened my phone to find a series of unread messages. In the family chat group, it turned out Jenny Shen had gone in there to complain bitterly, saying that I treated her terribly. It was precisely because of my laxness that she had fallen into her current predicament. If I had been a little stricter, things wouldn't have come to this. In short, in her eyes, all her current misfortunes were my fault. Relatives chimed in one by one to console her. "Second uncle, your older sister is truly too focused on her work, neglecting her own sibling and leading her to this state. Auntie, as an older sister, if you don't care like parents, how can that be? A girl's reputation is the most important. If my daughter got pregnant before marriage, I would have broken her legs, not let her drop out to have a baby like that. Cousin's wife, little Lucy, as an older sister, cutting off ties with your pregnant sister is truly despicable. If you don't stand up for your sister, how can she hold her head high in front of her in-laws?" They stood on the high ground of morality, invoking righteousness to mercilessly scold me, as if they were the truly fair and benevolent ones. How ridiculous. If they were truly so moral, why had Jenny Shen and I lived such miserable lives for the past 10 years? When our parents had just died in a traffic accident, they vied to take us in, arguing over custody. But when they learned that the compensation money was all spent and we were even heavily in debt, they vanished without a trace. No one was willing to offer financial help, and no one wanted to raise us in our parents' stead. Outwardly, they said, "Children prefer their own homes, they don't want to live off others. We can't force them." But in reality, Jenny Shen and I had no home. Aside from a few pots and pans, all valuable items in the house were taken by them. The TV, refrigerator, washing machine, even Mom's jewelry borrowed and never returned. I had no choice but to take Jenny Shen to the city to work, to put her through school there. After many years of effort, our lives slowly stabilized. But facing these relatives, my heart was filled with nothing but bitter resentment. And Jenny Shen, rejected by me, she turned to the very people who had once abandoned us to air her grievances. Did she think that if she got these relatives to scold me, I would be scared? That I would become her willing slave again, just like before? How foolish. She didn't know that I was afraid of nothing, and absolutely never afraid of those cold-blooded individuals. I immediately counterattacked in the family group. Oh, second uncle, so you weren't working to have more time to play with your child. Why didn't you say so earlier? I thought you were unemployed. Not working for 20 years to raise a child, that's truly a sacrifice for the family. My utmost respect. Auntie, you certainly manage your children strictly. Cousin, thanks to your care for her reputation, is still unmarried at 40. You just need to try a few more years, wait until she reaches menopause, and she'll definitely not get pregnant accidentally. Cousin's wife, I admit I wasn't a good enough older sister, but you are a true role model. For your younger brother, you almost sold everything in your house, even nearly got divorced. You are truly a great sister. My barrage of insults rained down and the relatives turned purple with rage. But because everything I said was true, they couldn't refute me. It was then that Jenny Shen finally spoke up. Sister, how can you talk to elders like that? They only want what's best for us. You shouldn't say such things. Even though it was clear she had started all this today, now she began playing the good person. Seeing Jenny Shen speak up for them, the relatives showered her with praise. Little Jenny is so understanding. Even though she's young, she's much more mature than her older sister. All right, fine. For little Jenny's sake, we won't argue with Lucy Shen anymore. Lucy Shen, you really should treat little Jenny better. Such a well-behaved child makes one's heart ache. I nearly died laughing. Even at this point, they were still putting on a show. Since they wanted to play the Good Samaritan, I would let them see it through. I smiled and said, you all love Jenny Shen so much, and you're afraid she'll be bullied. Then why don't you pool together 600,000 yuan as a dowry for her? Isn't it because she has no dowry that the groom's family looks down on her? With that money, I guarantee she'll live with her head held high in her in-laws' home. Jenny Shen was stunned, then joyfully said, really? Second uncle, auntie, cousin's wife, thank you all so much. Jenny Shen's words threw the entire group into a panic. I'm unemployed, I can't even afford a dowry for my own daughter yet. I'm still covering my younger brother's losses here. And just like that, one by one, they left the chat group. I knew these relatives much better than Jenny Shen did. All talk, no action. The moment money was mentioned, they fled like scared mice. Jenny Shen was dumbfounded. I chuckled. They seem to have been scared off by you. With that, I also left the group, leaving Jenny Shen bewildered alone in it. Without a penny to her name and no relatives to lean on, she had no choice but to dejectedly return home. Already disliked by her in-laws, and now having fought with her boyfriend, her future life would surely be even more miserable. But I no longer cared. Now my mind was entirely focused on my studies. I worked hard during the day and studied diligently at night, feeling energized every day as if I'd been injected with a tonic. I had an intense hunger for knowledge. After 4 months, I passed all 4 subjects I had registered for again. But this time, I wasn't overly excited. Because when you've worked hard enough, passing exams becomes natural. After getting the results, I treated myself to a day of relaxation, brewing tea at home, when unexpectedly, I received a strange call. May I ask if this is Miss Shen? I'm an obstetrician and gynecologist from the Central Hospital. Your sister, Jenny Shen, is giving birth at our hospital and is currently suffering from severe hemorrhage that cannot be stopped. We need to perform a hysterectomy to save her life. Could you please come to the hospital to sign the consent form? I hesitated, asking, why me? Can't the baby's father sign? The doctor sighed. He can, but his parents won't agree to sign, because the mother gave birth to a daughter and they still want a grandson. I asked again, what about Jenny Shen herself? The doctor slowly said, she also doesn't want the removal, even though she knows it's necessary to save her life. But as family members, you must consider the mother's health. I immediately cut her off. I'm sorry, doctor. I'm on a distant business trip and can't return right away. Please discuss this with her boyfriend. With that, I hung up. Jenny Shen didn't want the removal. Liam Liu and his parents didn't want it either. If I were to go and sign now, wouldn't I become the one hated by their entire family? I had been foolish once. I wouldn't make the same mistake again. Whether Jenny Shen wanted to keep her uterus or lose it, to live or die, no longer concerned me. In my previous life, she herself sold me into a foreign black market where they harvested all my organs, leaving me to die a gruesome death. Since she was that cruel, I no longer needed to be soft-hearted. Ultimately, Jenny Shen still had to undergo a hysterectomy. When she realized I wouldn't come to the hospital and that she would die without the surgery, she finally signed the consent form herself, defying Helen Ha's objections. So, she knew all along that to live, she had to cut. It turns out life was still more important than her uterus. Her initial objection was merely a ploy to make me the villain, to later blame all her misfortunes on me. She wanted me to live a lifetime of guilt, and then she could play the victim in front of her boyfriend, saying, "I never wanted the surgery, my sister forced me to sign the papers," and then both of them would resent me together. It was a meticulously calculated move, and luckily I wasn't fooled. Truly dangerous. Now, all her schemes had dissolved into thin air because she had given birth to a daughter and had her uterus removed. Since Liam Liu's parents were extremely patriarchal, Jenny Shen's situation became utterly miserable. I heard that even before her month of confinement was over, Liam Liu had already started flirting with other girls online. Jenny Shen had no education, no money, and her body was no longer healthy. So, even though she knew Liam Liu was emotionally cheating, she only dared to seethe internally, not daring to speak up. She comforted herself. "It's normal for men to be a little swayed by pretty girls, as long as his heart is still with me." Even though they weren't married, she thought she had given birth to his daughter, so wasn't she implicitly the main wife? She kept deluding herself like that. Once, Liam Liu even posted a selfie holding their daughter, with the caption, "This queen isn't dead yet, you all are forever concubines." I just found it laughable. A mommy's boy, a scumbag, was seen as a treasure, but she quickly couldn't delude herself anymore. Because not long after her confinement, Helen Ha advised her to move out. She claimed she was old and worried about disturbing the young couple. Jenny Shen complied and moved into a rented room, but Liam Liu grew increasingly cold, visiting the rented house less and less. It was then that she felt something was wrong. One day, without warning, she went to Helen Ha's house and discovered that Liam Liu already had a new girlfriend, Zunai, equal to him in education and family background. At that moment, the four of them were happily eating dinner together. Liam Liu, fearing Jenny Shen would cause a scene, pulled her onto the balcony and begged her to keep it a secret. At first, he tried soft persuasion, but seeing Jenny Shen's defiance, he revealed his true colors. "What right do you have to be angry? You're not my wife. You're uneducated and you no longer have a uterus. On what grounds do you demand I marry you? Sleeping with me was your agreement, dropping out of school was your choice. How does it concern me? I supported you for a year, that's already more than enough. Don't push your luck." He continued, "The matter is clear, don't say anything more. From now on, Zunai and I will graduate together, study abroad together, enjoy the western skies together, and later return to work at a domestic company, living happily ever after. If you have any self-respect left, don't bother us anymore. As for you and that daughter, I'll send 1,000 yuan a month for child support. That's enough for you to live on. Don't dream of anything more." Those were Liam Liu's final words. After that, Jenny Shen, in a fit of rage, pushed him from the 13th floor. His body was shattered beyond recognition. Because she was still breastfeeding, Jenny Shen was not sentenced to death but received a suspended death sentence. If she rehabilitated well, there might still be a chance for her to send her daughter to university. After Liam Liu's death, his parents fainted crying in court. If there was any silver lining to this murder, it was that their daughter, who was originally an illegitimate child, unloved by her father and rejected by her grandmother, now became the sole heir of the Liu family, Liam Liu's only child. Wishing for someone to care for them in their old age, his parents were forced to be kind to the child. As for Liam Liu's beautiful dreams, they shattered. He would forever lie beneath the earth, becoming an anonymous handful of yellow soil. And Jenny Shen, the murderer, would face the strict punishment of the law. Not long after, I received a heads-up call. "Jenny Shen really wants to see you, to meet you one last time." I went. Jenny Shen had no way out now. I wanted to see what kind of tricks she would pull this time. Unexpectedly, as soon as we met, her eyes were red-rimmed. "Sister, why didn't you advise me this time? Why did you let me walk straight into the fire pit? Clearly, you weren't like this in our previous life." In that moment, I knew she had also been reborn. I smirked. "In the previous life, I advised you to have an abortion, to go back to school, and even spent a fortune to send you to study abroad. What did you repay me with? You killed me, so why should I help you in this life?" Jenny Shen bit her lip, full of unwillingness. Her face was etched with belated regret. I continued, relentless. I deliberately aimed for her most painful spot. "Back then, when you caused my death, what did you say? You said that although I helped you with your education and financial freedom, I made you lose the most precious love of your life, so I deserve to die. So what about this life? I didn't destroy your love at all. My dear sister, did you find the happiness you desired in this life? My eyes were full of sarcasm. Jenny Shen finally couldn't take it anymore and burst into tears. No, I'm not happy at all. I regret it to death. I ruined my whole life for a scumbag, leaving me unable to ever hold my head high again. I hate that bastard Liam Liu. Sister, I'm so sorry. Only now do I understand. Back then, you did that for my own good. It was my fault for not cherishing it. Can you forgive me? Forgive her? What was there to forgive? In the previous life, she truly killed me, and I truly died because of her. All those betrayals and wounds were real. They had all happened. So I, who died tragically from betrayal, what right did I have to forgive myself? I laughed coldly. Sorry, I won't forgive you. As for your current predicament, don't blame anyone, not even Liam Liu. The only one you should blame is yourself, because this is the path you chose. Even in this life, you had many opportunities to save yourself, but it was your own weakness, ignobility, and self-contempt that led to today's tragedy. Winter passed, spring arrived, time flowed like water. After over a year of arduous revision and exams, I finally received my acceptance letter for self-study university. It was what I had always yearned for. The moment I held that paper in my hand, I felt a slight daze, as if I had returned 10 years to my high school classroom. Back then, I had also studied diligently, just as I was now, hoping to receive an acceptance letter from my dream university. The difference was that back then, I had many like-minded friends by my side, while now I was surrounded by loneliness. My friends and I had once promised to go to university together to enjoy that beautiful period. But I had broken that promise. An unforeseen event had trapped me for 10 years, forcing me to watch helplessly as my friends went to university, graduated, started working, got married, and had children. Meanwhile, I carried the burden of raising my sister. Having missed out on my dream of higher education, I never expected that after 10 years, I would finally be able to fulfill my initial wish, to step through the gates of my dream university once again. I believe this acceptance letter isn't an endpoint, but merely a ticket to entry. My beautiful life has only just begun.